Now to tonight's top story. People from all over the world are in Rome, Italy right now to witness the Pope bestow sainthood on Central New York's Mother Mary Ann Cope. Our Matt Mulcahy traveled to Rome with other Central New Yorkers for this truly historic event. CNY Central sent that team for this big event. Our Matt Mulcahy joins us live from Italy tonight. Hey Matt, good evening.
Well, Megan, that's exactly appropriate. A good evening. We're well into the night here at the Vatican. You can see St. Peter's Basilica over my shoulder. This is the canonization week that people from Central New York have been waiting for, some of them for decades now. We were able to catch up with many of them today at the papal audience, the Wednesday morning audience that Pope Benedict XVI holds here in the St. Peter's Square at the Basilica every Wednesday morning around the time of 10:30 or so. It was really a grand entrance for the Pope today. Tens of thousands of people from all over the world were gathered here, snapping pictures with iPhones and cameras and reaching out, hoping for just a chance to be close to the Holy Father here. He then gave a message talking about the year of faith and how important that is to the Catholic Church, celebrating 50 years since the Second Vatican Council, a real benchmark in the change of the Church around the world. Now, of course, this is the week where the canonization of Mother Mary Ann Cope will take place, along with Kateri Tekakwitha, the Mohawk Indian that dates back to the 17th century. Two people that people from upstate New York are here in Vatican City celebrating and commemorating during this week. You know, this is really an emotional experience, especially for the Sisters of St. Francis. I spoke with several of them who've been involved with this cause for years now, back starting in the early 1970s, pushing her way through documenting the miracles involved in this case, working with the Vatican to get to the point of venerable, then blessed, and then a canonized saint in the Universal Catholic Church. That will all take place Sunday morning right behind me where you see St. Peter's Basilica and the square. It'll be filled with tens of thousands of people. You know, it was fascinating to hear the Pope speak several languages today: Latin, Italian, Spanish, German, Polish, and English, as he welcomed different groups who were in some pretty warm weather, enjoying every bit of this rare occasion where they get to be in the presence of the Holy Father and celebrating a week where a saint will be canonized from Central New York. I also had a conversation today with the bishop from Hawaii, Larry Silva, who said this is an opportunity for the whole world to now understand the great person that Mother Mary Ann Cope was and how she sacrificed, she served people, and she did that while taking a vow of poverty in her life in the spirit of St. Francis. Quick note about tomorrow: the Sisters from St. Francis will be traveling to Assisi, about a 2.5-hour bus ride from here, to enjoy some of those holy locations that mean so much to them in their order. Megan?
Matt, this is quite a remarkable experience, certainly a unique opportunity for Central New Yorkers. Can you give me a sense as to, what the feeling is for them?
Well, we talked to several of the sisters involved with the Sisters of St. Francis who are here today, and as soon as I just asked them about two things, being in the presence of the Pope, they smiled, and then talking about the presence that they were feeling from Mother Mary Ann Cope. You know, many of them have been really influenced by her throughout their lives and really have a sense that this is a time that she's being recognized for being such a great, virtuous person and really being a servant to God. Megan?
All right, our own Matt Mulcahy live in Rome, Italy tonight. Matt, great to see you. We will see you a bit later on in the newscast. Our team coverage continues tonight in Newtown, Connecticut. Matt Mulcahy is at Sandy Hook Elementary School as the first funerals were held today. Two victims with local ties will be laid to rest later on this week. Matt?
Well, Megan, around the Newtown community, memorials continue to grow at various locations, street corners, Christmas trees. But for the people who live in this community, they're moving past the symbolism because they have to deal with reality: funerals and wakes for children. The time for remembering faceless names of children with tokens of love has transitioned into a time to celebrate the real young people they were becoming. James Mattioli's family makes a point of saying he was 6 3/4. They began the public part of their grieving process this afternoon at a funeral home in neighboring Monroe. Central New York relatives have joined the family in Connecticut for the wake and the funeral. James's grandparents still live in Sherrill. His mother, Cindy Radley Mattioli, is a VVS graduate. The little boy's obituary recalls how he loved to cuddle on the couch with his mother. Family says he was a mini version of his father.
People attending the wake will be reminded how James, or Jay, loved to swim and sing, and wear shorts and a t-shirt in any weather. The Connecticut weather remained dark and dreary while a heavy police presence kept watch over school buildings. Even without any threats, officers stood guard as a sign of reassurance in schools outside of Newtown. Most students return to school tomorrow or Wednesday for a few days before the Christmas break.
We are holding both crime scenes, the school and the secondary crime scene, indefinitely. We've seized it under search warrants, and we're going to hold those locations until we've completed our work and we feel it is appropriate to let them go.
Sandy Hook Elementary is still a crime scene. The surviving children will ultimately resume school in a different building. But first, a community in mourning forges ahead. The beginning of 20 funerals for children.
And late this afternoon and into this evening, that wake for James Mattioli, well, the traffic is backed up. People are waiting in lines outside the funeral home. In fact, they had to set up extra parking at a shopping plaza nearby. That's how intense the grief is and how many people want to come out to support the family. Megan.
Matt Mulcahy live for us in Newtown, Connecticut tonight. Matt.